Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today I'm looking at this rather heavy deluxe edition of Hanabi. So this is called Hanabi Deluxe II. The original came out in 2010, this came out in 2019. It has very, very lovely tiles. Now I was going to use a black playmat just to show you the lovely, noise and clatter that comes with it if you chuck this all out onto a table, but I'm sure you wouldn't like that for your ears. So instead you get a bit more of a contrast with a bit of grain underneath here, using a bit of wood. And in this game, it's a cooperative game. It will be going in the cooperative playlist. It'll be going into the How to Set Up and Review playlist, the Family Rate playlist, the AmassGames playlist, amongst others. It's by Antoine Bowser, designed in 2010, as I mentioned. It won SPIEL.digital, so that is Best Game of the Year in Germany, based on replayability, based on easy to teach, fun, replayability, amongst other things. So if you want to also find it, it'll also be in that playlist as well, whereby there's over 20 of those SPIEL.digitals. I have played, I think, all but maybe 2 currently. So here we go. We have various tiles in here. There is a wild tile. So basically you can play with a 6th colour, or you can alternate and mix things around. And thereby, if you say this is a red tile, and I'll explain what that means in a second, what that's going to mean is this could be red and something else, but I'll come back onto that. So let's just show you an example of these tiles. The aim of the game is to build fireworks. The word Hanabi is Japanese for fireworks, and you're all going to take at random 5 tiles. So let's say I've taken these 5 at random. I didn't know I was going to take them. I take these 5, everyone else takes them in a 2 to 5 player game. So I cannot see my tiles. So in this instance I can, but I presume I can't. And someone is going to be asking me about them. So what might be easier is saying, okay, this is what I can see of somebody else's tile. So I've got my 5 and I don't know what they are. So here they are over here, and you can play this on boardgamearena, so please check out my playlist for boardgamearena. There's over 75 videos on there. So what you can do is do one of 2 things. It's very much a limited communication game. You can say you have a certain amount of a colour or a certain amount of a number. So in this case, I can say I've got 2 1s, I can say I've got 2 greens, I can say I've got 2 4s, I could say I've got 1 5. So it's interesting to know what there are of each. So there are 3 1s of every colour. There are 2 2s, 2 3s and 2 4s every colour, and there's only 1 5. So the aim of the game is to play out your fireworks in numerical order. So you're going to play a 1 initially. So if someone says on the first turn, these are 2 1s, then a fairly standard move might be just to play that out. And now we've got a 1 firework for blue. Then at the end of your turn, you are going to draw up, and that is going to proceed to the next player. And again, you can either give a clue, or you can play, or you can discard. Now what's interesting in terms of the peril going on here is you are going to have these counters. You're going to have time counters, and the aim of the game is to make sure you do not run out, otherwise you lose the game. So you're going to have 8 different counters out here, so they're all pretty much the same thing. They have clocks. The real reason why they are slightly different is because if you want to play the expansion, there's some variability there. So this deluxe edition does have 3 expansions. I won't be talking to you about that one in this video there though. So there we go, there are 8 counters. So someone gave a clue, and then someone played a tile, and of course they've drawn this out. And there are also some fuse tiles. Now I'm aware that the angle of this video is different to usual, so I do apologise for any audio disturbances, anything to do with the angle and the lighting. It's just to show you how you're seeing it from pretty much a gamer's eye perspective potentially. So you might want to get back some clues. So instead you can want to discard something. So someone could on a future turn could say this is blue and that is blue. Now they already might know that this is a 1, so now of course they can discard it. So when it comes to their turn, they could choose to discard this. Discard it, goes out, so you can see what it is being discarded, and now we get a clue back. If you get all 5 of a certain colour up, you do get one of these things back. Interestingly, so of course when you're playing this, there's 5 different colours. The maximum score you can get is 25, and there's a little cheat sheet telling you how you do for each particular level you get up to. So I have managed to get to 25, including not even actually flipping over these tiles when you reach 5, which we didn't realise, so we kind of played on a hard mode, I guess. You can also have a guess, so there are 4 of these available, but as soon as 3 have gone, you basically explode, so you lose the game as well. So if someone says this is blue, you might go, oh, it's a blue 2 maybe, and then you find out it's incorrect. But remember, there's 1 more of everything left if it's a 2, 3 or 4. There are 3 1s of every colour and only 1 5. So you might choose to say, well, that's a 5, and now you know to kind of keep hold of it. What's interesting about this version, of course, is being these lovely tactile pieces, not cards. We used to have the card version. Then you might have to be thinking, well, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And then as you bring in more tiles, things change a bit too. And that's a factor. Now, you can head over via the description on YouTube to Instagram and see over 2,750 photos, including lots over there. So 2,750 posts, way more than that in photos, and you can see lovely, pretty, completed puzzles and stuff. Even playing with my 1-year-old nieces, in fact, just when they enjoy these lovely tactile pieces. So this game did RRP for $79.99. I don't know if it's anywhere near that in actually what people are paying for it, but that's something to be aware of. And like I said, if you're playing with these special tiles, you might say, these are green or whatever it is, so you don't know that that is green until obviously you play certain things out. So I won't be talking about that one, but I might well do a playthrough in future, whether it be regular or otherwise. If you want to see other videos, check out obviously the subscribe button, the notification bell, the share button and like, and again via the description YouTube you can support the channel via Patreon. There of course is also Facebook, please join over there. Occasionally competitions, including over via on Linktree, which are time sensitive, so keep checking back. But that has been Hanabi Deluxe, like I said, very weighty version. Beautiful tiles though, and it is very something nice to look at. Everyone's been very appealing, very impressed with it. It is a great game. I haven't given you my rating yet. It's an 8.4 presently. I've played this 87 times, at least the base game, not as much for this particular edition. And yeah, obviously the base game you're trying to really hold onto cards in a certain way. You might have all kinds of strategies, you know, drawing from the right, drawing from the left. And you can even have a bit of memory, so you can say, what do you recall about your tiles? Or people do forget as they draw brand new tiles into their hands. Other times you can even say to people, just remind you that is what it is, although I've never played that way and I'm not familiar with other people who've done that way too, but supposedly it's that open-ended as for that rulebook that you're allowed to do that. That's not a bad oversight from the rules. It allows you to play it at your own speed. So there's some spare extra tiles again, so you can play that another expansion, which as of yet I haven't touched on, but I think that's just because that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm more than happy to play a base game if it's, of course, it's of interest. So yeah, if you do have any questions or comments, YouTube is always best just because everyone else can see that there, and then of course everyone else can share in that discussion too. There have been daily videos for quite a few years now, so if you're interested in any other stuff, like I said, keep on checking back, and I look forward to hearing your feedback on anything else you wish to have covered off. Like I said, as a cooperative game go, it's a great peril, it doesn't take too long. It says 25 minutes, and that is fairly accurate. I think sometimes, even as a 2 though, it can be closer to 40 minutes. So the more players, it might be the case that you're probably more likely to bust than anything. I think it's slightly harder perhaps with more players, just because you're trying to dial in. So do you want to dial in with somebody else, or do you want them to dial in with you? And that's something to be aware of. I generally put these face up just so I'm familiar with which way, obviously, where those multicolored tiles are at the bottom. That cheat sheet as well is there, so seeing how you got on. So I find getting to the 16 to 20 is fairly common, and that's really good. And like I said, nice little snapshot box for Hanabi Deluxe II. Back to the table.